Sunderland have signed 29-year-old midfielder Alan Browne from Preston North End after he turned down a 3-year deal to remain at Deepdale in favour of signing one at the Stadium of Light. So just who is Alan Browne, and why did Sunderland change tack from their recent model of signings? Browne signed for Preston mid-season in 2014 as a 19-year-old from Cork City in Ireland, and he went on to captain Preston North End from 2021. Sunderland had apparently been tracking Browne since January, given the Lily Whites had offered Browne the most lucrative contract in their history. It is something of a coup to persuade the club captain of a rival team to leave in favour of us. Browne is 29 years old. Not so long ago, this would have been considered a player's prime years, and his experience will do us a world of good in guiding our young, talented team. He has played over 400 games for North End in the last 10 years and scored 46 goals across that time. He predominantly plays in the centre of midfield, but he can play across the park and has a canny cross on him as well. Last season he scored 4 goals and provided 4 assists and was named the Preston Player of the Season. And his last 3 seasons have seen him play his best football of his career, to have him rated second only to Jack Clarke and Dan Neil in our team. He is a skillful, composed player. Look at this turn on the edge of the box to make the shot.
Burst in two on his left foot. It's blocked, and now Alan Browne. Oh, and Alan Browne's managed to sneak it in.
And he can strike a ball with either foot. This is the left.
Plays it crossfield. Browne brings it down and smashes it in. North End rip Rovers apart as Alan Browne celebrates. The captain makes it 2 in 2 and leads by example. 10 before the break. Preston ahead. It's Blackburn Rovers 0. Preston North End 1.
And this is the right.
Oh, what a start for the second half. Alan Browne. We've lauded him so far this afternoon, and he's just shown us why. A great strike from distance.
His strength these days lies in the tackle and in aerials. He's among some of the best performers in the league in these two elements, and it's nice to have someone who can win aerials at last, never mind score goals with them.
The away support goading Chris Maxwell in the Huddersfield goal as Holmes sends it in! And Preston North End lead through Alan Browne! The man with the Midas touch when it comes to playing Huddersfield Town!
He also ranks as one of the best counter-pressing players in the league, meaning he is highly aggressive in trying to win the ball back when it's lost high up the pitch. He's in the 92nd percentile for this out of all championship players. How does Browne stack up against our current central midfielders of Dan Neil and Pierre Ekwah, though? Defensive stats. No surprise, he comes out as our best defensive midfielder, as he blocks more shots than Neil and Ekwah. He also makes more tackles. He's way ahead of Ekwah for tackles won, and although on a par with Neil, importantly, more of Browne's tackles are in the final third, which inevitably leads to goal creation chances. On top of this, Browne makes 40% more interceptions than either of them. All of this means it's no surprise to see a good shot creation chance outcome from him. He's not quite as good as Neil, but he's considerably better than Ekwah in both shot and goal creation actions. Where Browne is weak, though, is in passing and possession overall. His pass completion over all distances is the worst of the three, and 10% below Ekwah and more over medium and longer distances against Neil. Consequently, he delivers fewer live balls, in other words, passes that can continue play for Sunderland. Both Neil and Ekwah deliver much more. All of this clearly suggests that Browne should be playing as a central defensive midfielder in an aggressive pressing side. This should help unleash Dan Neil's creative prowess and Pierre Ekwah's shooting, which vastly exceeds anything produced by the other two. All in all, we look to have secured a player at the peak of his career who is never injured and has played virtually every game in the last decade. He will likely fill a much-needed gap as a defensive central midfielder with some of the best defence and pressing stats in the league, but with also the ability to create chances, as well as put them away himself. And all of this on a free transfer. A cracking bit of business, but how exactly have we done this? Well, at this stage, Browne probably has one last chance of making it to the Premier League to test himself. And it was that which caused him to leave the Lilywhites in the hope that Sunderland might provide the opportunity. He wants a shot at the top flight and a chance of developing his international career in the next few years.
Talented squad. And obviously the size of the club really appealed to me. It's a massive club and one of the biggest in England. So
this is not just a journeyman joining us for a payday. He's joining us out of ambition and drive. Welcome to the lads, Alan. Let's see what you've got.